Hello, welcome back to the channel. This week, I'm really excited for the shoot we got going. I am on my way to the airport. We are traveling to Wyoming. I've got a couple of different shoots lined up. This week will be some astrophotography. Hopefully, fingers crossed, the skies are clear and we get some cool stuff. So I'm taking the Fuji X-T5 with the 16 to 55 millimeter lens. I believe it's right. It's a 2.8 lens, so it's relatively fast. It's not one of the 1.4s that you really like to have in the astro world, but my fastest Fuji lens is a 56 millimeter, which is the equivalent of like an 85 on full frame. I want a much wider field of view, so we're going to go with this other lens. And we have the Move Shoot Move Nomad Star Tracker. We'll be utilizing it to reduce star trails in the image. Should be a good shoot. Super excited for it. We got a lot of things happening this week and we're going to be in a great place for it. Let's see how it goes. All right, we are in Wyoming, headed out on a couple little dirt roads, trying to see where we might want to try to shoot. At the moment, fingers crossed, it looks like we're going to have some clear skies this evening. Got to do a little bit of scouting, see what's going to work for us. There's meteor showers tonight, and we're in a place with some really dark skies. As long as the weather plays ball, we should be good to go. So we will see what we can line up. I'll be using photo pills for planning future shots. It really lets you know where things are going to be at what time and in what direction. So it's a great tool. Just had some major disappointment as we're riding along, coming up this hill here. Almost got stuck, but that's not the disappointing part. That's maybe the fun part. Across the ravine, there's a huge herd of horses. Of course, wild horses here in Wyoming. You know, you see a lot of them in the areas that I'm in, but you know, it's always nice to see the wildlife and the different things. So I get out my zoom lens and put it on the camera, get ready to zoom, and as I turn the zoom, nothing happens. That's odd. I just used this thing a couple of weeks ago and it zoomed fine. Looked at it a little bit, maybe shook it a little bit, which you really shouldn't do because these things have stabilization built into them. No joy. It's just not zooming. All right, here we are. We're back at Pilot Butte. We were set up. Butte's over here. We're set up trying to get some astro photography in, you know, nighttime kind of shots. Doing it a little different this week. I'm using the Fuji Film X-T5, which is a APC or crop sensor camera. And with the crop sensor in a low light situation, we inherently know that we're going to get more noise in the images. So to overcome that, what we'll do is we'll take the images and we'll stack them using an application. There's a free app for your PC and an app for the Mac. I don't remember the names of them off the top of my head. The app for the Mac cost about 30 bucks, and the one for the PC is, it's free. By stacking the images, what you can do is you can get rid of a lot of this noise. So I'm gonna stack a few and try to work some of the noise out and see what we come up with. And then we're also going to make a time lapse with you can see the clouds behind me maybe. I don't know if you can or not, but there's quite a few clouds over here. They're moving back this way. So we're gonna see if we can't get a decent time lapse with the clouds rolling through and the butte in the background. So maybe that'll work out nice, hopefully. And to get my settings here, I've got a 16mm lens and I'm shooting at 16, 2.8. I'm shooting at 15 seconds. I mean, use the 300 rule to get the time for my shot. You take your focal length and divide it into 300, and in this case it gives you like 18 and some change. I can't get to an 18-second shutter speed on the camera, so I'm at 15, and then I bump the ISO up just a little to 200 to sort of compensate for that extra time. If I seem a little fidgety, it's because it's cold. It's 40 degrees. I'm getting pretty chilly. We've been at this for a couple hours now, trying to wait out the clouds because the clouds are moving this direction, and the further you go that way, the clearer the sky is. So hopefully before too long, we'll have some clear sky and we get some nice shots of the sky. We do have a full moon. Again, it was supposed to be a pink moon, but I don't see pink. Here, we'll show you, let you be your own judge. Don't look very pink to me. I'll show you the scene on the back of the camera. Now let's review the tips and tricks for the week. First off, use a tripod. You're shooting these multiple second exposures, it's a must. You gotta have a tripod. Use the widest aperture lens you have. By using the widest lens you have, you'll get the most light that you can get, and that's really a must out here in the dark. Also, don't be afraid to push your ISO up a little bit. You know, these new modern cameras can really handle it. They're not like, you know, the cameras of 10 years ago that once you got above 800, it was just an unusable image. This X-T5, I've shot images up ISOs in the 3000s, 5000s, and perfectly usable images, especially if you're just sharing on social media, or it's an image of a event or a scene that you might not get to see again. An image is better than no image. And with the new technology and our editing softwares, we can get rid of a lot of that noise. And in a little bit, I'll tell you the best way to get rid of noise in these long exposures. But use your ISO, you know, set it where you feel comfortable with, learn the camera that you're shooting with, and you'll know where you can go and still get a good image. One of the best tips in low light photography is to use a remote shutter button. Either a remote shutter like the X-T5, I can use my phone as a remote shutter, or you know, you can get an intervalometer, and that way when you push the button, you don't get that little bit of camera shake that might make your image a little blurry and lose just enough sharpness to make the image iffy. So, and if you don't have that, you can always do a delayed, you know, like on the X-T5 sitting here, I like to use a 2-second delay. Some people will tell you to use a 10-second delay. It's pretty stable on the tripod. I haven't had problems with a 2-second delay. So the last tip I'll show you how to do a little bit later, but I'll tell you about it now. Shooting a camera like the X-T5, which is a crop sensor or a APC sensor camera, they tend to have a bit more noise than a full frame camera. So you got to figure out how to work around that. And to do that, the best thing to do is use a technique called image stacking. So you take usually between 6 and 9, no more than 16 images, and you can stack those. And I use Starry Landscape Tracker. And what it does is each photo, the noise is random. So you take that random noise and you have like 9 photos, and with those 9 photos and all the noise being random, the software will go through and take that noise out, and you come out with a lot cleaner image. I'll show you how to do that in just a little bit in Starry Landscape Tracker on a Mac.